on today's episode of The Real DJ Show.
I remember the days when I was actually counting how much an envelope cost and my cost of business sold.
No, you have 30 more seconds.
Can we start that one over?
You can't start it over.
Why not?
What?
Because it's a podcast. No one's your answer.
You can't just start over. The whole point
Yes.
of this time.
Oh, hey.
Why is it? She said that to me in that tone for, I don't know, we've known each other for 10 years.
Oh, hey, it's Kristen and Cassie from Rochester Wedding Magazine.
And you're listening to The Real DJ Show, and you should really listen to us.
Because we know what the we're talking about.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bag.
All right, very good. You saw it. So this is the episode of BPM. This is a little intellectual banter between John and I.
I'm hoping it's intellectual.
Of course it is. You know, you wrote the questions. Everyone knows that. So
Who knows?
You know the rules. So basically, there's going to be a question that Mickey pulls out of the hat, and then he'll read that question, and then John and I have 60 seconds to state our position. We have a very, very experienced intellectual panel. Talented panel to do some rebuttals, and they're going to, if we make a good point, they're going to show us their vote. And we're going to tally up post-production to see who wins that argument.
And our panel today is awesome. Our panel today is the team from Weddings in New York. It's Kristen, it's Cassie, and hijacking is their boss, Theo. Theo's going to be a guest on our next podcast we're doing, but he's here early, so he's hijacking. It's good to have him.
Yeah.
All right, and it's not a hat. It's a golden wheel of death. All right, producer Mickey, spin the golden wheel of death and pull out our first topic for debate.
Participating in bridal shows is the most important marketing a special event DJ can do. Agree or disagree?
Well, I better say I agree. All right, I'm going to say it's very important.
They're going to hit you with a plant, bro. Go ahead.
Look, okay, so as part of an overall marketing plan, the number one most important thing to me is being on the preferred vendor list for a venue. Sorry, guys, that is number one for me. It's my lifeblood. But bridal shows is right up there. But you can't look at a bridal show as an opportunity to fill your calendar with clients. It's a captive marketing opportunity to network with other vendors who are going to refer you. So you're going to show up early, you're going to get your booth set up, and then you're going to go out there and you're going to network. And then when you meet couples during the show that you like, you're going to go introduce them to other vendors. So it's up there. It's really important. I would say, if you're asking me to agree or disagree, it's the most important. It's close, but it's definitely important.
But you're at a bridal show, and I agree with you on the whole vendor concept of being a venue at the top of the food chain. But there are more than one vendor at that show,
totally
including venues, right? So there's photographers and there's run the gamut, right? So if you are networking at a bridal show and you're talking to all these people, you're going to get word of mouth referral sources coming in from all walks of the vendor spectrum, not just venues, right? So you're walking around talking to photographers, and not for nothing, not every venue refers our business. So, it's also good to have that dichotomy and that dynamic variety of people referring to you in your business.
Bridal shows are so important. And we're debating, was it the most important is the word. And so
you have to agree with it because we're going to get a really shitty spot at the next bridal show.
Take that a-hole's booth away
I wonder how we got into the bathroom, Chuck. All right.
Next question.
I think that was a good answer, though.
Yeah, it was really good.
You guys want to add to that?
Yeah, I want to add to that.
Go for it. Add to that.
I think you both had really good points. But I'm going to go with Rich on this one for a second, just because I'm on the bridal show.
No way.
Just because I'm on the bridal show end. You are 100% correct with venues are going to be the number one thing for you. But
Get the hell out of here.
But they can put you on a list, but do they personally refer you? Back to something we were talking about earlier, fresh faces. The ones, do you go visit every venue every week to freshen up, that?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But at a bridal show, you can see 20 venues at once and just go kiss their butts
It's
there.
true. Okay, so allow me to reestablish the fact that I think that bridal shows are a critical, irreplaceable, high level important of anyone's, especially a DJ's marketing plan. If you say that you don't have to do bridal shows, you're wrong.
Right.
It just for me, the personal marketing plan I have with visiting venues is number one for me, and bridal shows is one.
And to support your point, though, John, not every venue does bridal shows.
No.
So if you're just cross-sectioning that segment out, there's a lot of venues that aren't at your shows. They should be, but they're not. So
I give John a lot too, though, because you know how many people don't go to venues and visit, and that's terrible. They should be your best friend.
Yes.
It literally, if someone tells me I am starting a DJ company, what do I do for marketing? I get your ass in a car and start driving to venues and asking, what can you do to get on the referral?
And once you're there, congratulations. Don't piss them off.
Do everything you can.
Whether you're coming in or you're doing your show, you're leaving, don't piss the venue off. I mean, there's we'll do another show.
That was 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
That was a premiere episode we talked about. All right, Nikki, spin the wheel of death.
Oh, all right, here we go. All right. What was the best decade of music for wedding music?
Now, what's
Interpret
the best
as you
decade
will.
right now?
The question says, what's the best decade of music for wedding music?
Oh boy, that is a really good question. I gotta love 2000s. There's just so much to draw. Oh, we're getting some shakes there.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't like that answer. I don't know. I have to think about that one longer.
You can't.
Can
you
we
have a
start
minute.
that over?
No, you have 30 more seconds.
Can we start that one over?
You can't start it over.
Why not?
What?
Because it's a podcast. Yeah, we hear it there.
You can't just start over. The whole point
Yeah.
is it's timed.
All right. Yeah, I don't know.
I want to know what your favorite song from the 2000s was.
Well, I mean, I think 90s are a little bit too limiting. 60s and 70s and 80s, not really people enjoy it from that. And current is just too current. So, I mean, it just leaves the 2000s.
All right, allow me to go ahead. You just get your plants ready because the only correct answer that's possible is the 90s. It's the only answer that's correct. Hip hop party music from the mid to late 90s is irreplaceable. You can't even, if you said I can't play a mid to late 90s hip hop or party song at a wedding, just go home. You can't play Don't Stop Till You Get, you can't play This Is How We Do It. You can't play, any freaking It Takes Two. You can't do a wedding if you don't have mid to late 90s hip hop party songs. There's only one answer. Go ahead. Raise your pot.
No,
I am with him on there. It's the best dance music around, and everyone
It
knows
is.
the words and wants to
Listen,
jump in and dance.
One of Kristen's #1 channel on Pandora is Hip Hop Radio Barbecue, and we listened to it
Definitely.
like all day yesterday.
Dude, all of that is correct. However, older guests, they don't care about 90s music.
But they don't dance. Do they dance?
Hold on a second. Let me finish my point. You made yours. So with 2000s is more recognizable. So the question being, what's most read the question again?
He's reaching.
It's what was the best decade of music for wedding music?
Yeah, so for wedding music. So that means 90s is just one group of people, right? But for wedding music means the whole party. So grandma also listens to Flo Rida because Flo Rida has made it a mainstream rate. You can make all the faces you want.
Can this go down?
so
Can this go down, Emmy?
That's probably 80s or 70s.
So
Those are all great.
Universal, in my opinion, it's 2000s because it reaches more age groups.
I think John is on it. I think more age groups, the 2000s. Grandma knows probably more of the 90s music than the 2000s.
Grandma's not gonna appreciate Montel Jordan as much as she's gonna appreciate
Grandma now is in her 30s in the
Boots
90s.
with the fur.
Well, it's
Grandma
funny because
now
we're
is
all
30.
different generations here too, so it's kind of interesting to hear everybody's opinion on it. Because, like, Cass, what would you'd probably say?
I have no idea. I don't dance.
I think that song was from the 90s also. Phil Collins, I Can't Dance. All right. We know who's right.
You guys are 1-1.
You know what? You should run that out and tell me how it works for you.
Guys, in the comments
The
below.
first
go ahead
wedding
and
we
tell me
do
who's
is in
right.
April. We're there together. Let's run an experiment.
You
Let's
count
do
the 90s songs versus the 2000s.
Yeah.
I
See
like
what
that
happens.
idea.
I like it. All right. Nikki, last question of BPM.
Oh, all right. Now be honest. When you see another DJ perform, you judge them by their controller or media type.
Probably a little bit. And there's no way around that you're going to judge your preconception of this DJ going to be good by what his setup looked like before he started playing, right? If I walk up and I see an up-to-date controller, I say, okay, at least this person cares enough about their technology, they could be good. Now, is it guaranteed they're going to be a good DJ if they've got an expensive controller? No, it's not a perfect science. But if I go to a wedding, my wife has brought me to, there's not many anymore because she does not trust me to not be a douchebag about some DJ if I get brought to a wedding. But if I go to somebody else's wedding, on the rare occasion that happens, my wife lets me go, and I see they've got CD controllers, I'm like, brace yourself for a long night, everybody, because who knows what you're going to get. So yeah, I think there is, without a doubt, there has to be some judgment if I see a DJ's gear. I'm going to make some preconceived notion if they're any good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're not going to buy an advanced set of gear if they're not going to know the technology along with that. Obviously, it's more expensive. You need more education behind it. And if you're not serious about your craft or know what the hell you're doing, you're not going to buy that piece of equipment. However, I'll use you as an example. You went from one controller to a lot more simpler, lighter controller, and you're a fantastic DJ.
Thank you.
If I walked behind your deck and I saw that, I would have been like, that's a little new. You know, like newer person starting out, it's very simplistic, but you're a great DJ. So
thank you.
Yeah.
It's because I'm old and new controllers are heavy.
Yeah. Well, it's ease of, you're at the point in your career.
Well,
where
I think it's my point of it's not a perfect science. Like I use a more simple controller because I want to walk out at midnight with a light thing in my hand instead of dragging something on wheels or something.
And having a simple controller like that allows you to play more songs from the 2000s too, which equate to a more successful dance floor.
Speakers. You didn't talk about speakers.
No, we didn't. But panel, what do you think? Do you have an opinion about?
I really don't know much what
Derek.
you're talking about.
Oh, let's talk
Smiling and
about that,
nodding
though.
and shaking our plants.
So it doesn't really matter what type of gear they use. What does it matter for you?
Well, like I like what you said though about John can have a simpler. It's all about education and the person that's actually DJing. It's judging a book by its cover. You can't really judge it by.
It's true. I mean, look, obviously, you figure out if they're any good or not when they start playing. But the question asked me, will I judge a DJ before they've played? Will I, by the gear that I see sitting there? And of course, yeah. I mean,
Everybody does. It's a judgmental world.
Yeah.
It is a judgmental
Size of something.
world.
All right. So, hey, Mickey in post-production is going to tabulate the plant races to see who won. And at some point, we'll figure out what the tally of that is. But thank you for hanging out for another episode of Beats Per Minute.
Awesome. Love it.
Hey, you just caught a segment of Beats Per Minute, the game show of competitive DJ debate. If you want to see the episode of The Real DJ Show that this came from in its entirety, make sure you check out the link in the description. Of course, we want to know what you think, so blow up the comment section below and join the debate. If you have suggestions for content or want to join us next time, email us at TheRealDJShow@rochesterdj.com. Of course, we always want you along, so make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the little bell for all of our new content. Hey, we'll see you next time.